here we are. I'm Tom Osman, and this is Whatever Comes Next, the podcast where I explore the world of underground and independent music making. And on today's episode, I am joined by Benjamin and Helen of Two Eyes. You will see the name of the band characterized as literally two lowercase i's with dashes on either side. You can call them Two Eyes. If you want to find their latest record, which has just come out, which is Apostles of the Flesh, search Apostles of the Flesh. It is slightly easier on search engines than to find Two Eyes. A little tip for you there. To describe the music of Two Eyes is also not particularly straightforward. So there are industrial elements, there are alternative rock elements, there are post-rock elements, there are shoegaze elements. It's tribal sometimes, it's very dark, it's cinematic. It's a very cool and multifaceted record with also very cool visual Renaissance style to it. Talking about visuals, I have to hold my hands up and apologize because I did something that created a slight issue in terms of the YouTube version of this interview. If you are listening to this interview, everything's hunky-dory. If you decided you wanted to watch the YouTube version, unfortunately what I did, little technical description for you and perhaps a word of warning should you ever find yourself potentially in this situation. If you're recording a Zoom interview, don't ever change the speaker view after you start recording, which is what I did. So in order for you to see Benjamin and Helen, I have kept in the very beginning of when we said hello, just so you can see their faces in real time. And then unfortunately, after I changed the camera, it just froze and there's no vision of them. So what I did instead is I took one of the images from the photo shoot, which is where the album cover comes from. Beautiful photos, credited to Benjamin as well. I'm not quite sure. I didn't ask him how he managed to set all this up and actually be part of the photos as well. But there is a wonderful series of pictures that they have connected to the cover. And I chose one of them. So yeah, when Benjamin and Helen are talking, you will see a static picture of them, a very beautiful static picture of them. You can see me when I'm talking. And as I say, if you're listening to the audio version of this, it's all fine. It's like it never happened. But we talk about the album in depth. We talk about the band. Sometimes it's correct to think of them as being a duo. They are essentially the heart of the musical project, but there are other members involved at the moment and at other parts, at other points in the project's history. We get into talking about the album in some depth, about the instrumentation, about the history of the band, and talking about various aspects of the music industry, about making money or otherwise as artists and touring and playing live and all such things. And I will allow Benjamin and Helen to explain things for themselves in just a moment. You can support the podcast, should you so wish, by going to patreon.com/whatevercomesnext. For a mere £5 a month is all I ask. I will give you full-length interviews from each episode. Now, following on from episode 100, the DIY special, a couple of episodes ago, I am putting out slightly edited, shortened versions for these public episodes, but you can listen to longer episodes if you go to Patreon. And other than that, you can find me on all social media at Tom Osman Sounds. You can go to my website, tomosmansounds.com, to see what I'm doing musically. I've just been interviewing a future guest of the podcast who got me very inspired on the topic of making time for creative projects. So it's got my head swirling about what I should be doing with various different music projects that I'm just sort of pottering away at very slowly and ineffectually. And yeah, I keep saying it, but Amp Wall, go check it out. I will put my music up on there. It's going to happen very soon. And beyond that, Two Eyes, you can find them on Facebook, where they are Two Eyes. I guess it doesn't matter. I'm going to put links in the description anyway, but you can also find them on Instagram, where they are II_Two Eyes. And I am going to play a track from the album at the end of the episode. I've already stuck it in as I've been editing it, and I can't remember now which track it is, but it's a great one. You're going to hear a clip from it in a second. And so there is nothing further to be said. But Benjamin and Helen of Two Eyes, take it away. Times forgetting to record. So I see, first of all, you are wearing an Einstürzende Neubauten t-shirt, which I approve of greatly. And where are the two of you?
We are in our office. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're roommates, and this is like the office. It used to be my bedroom, but we turned it into an office, and we arranged everything, and yeah.
And how long has this been the office for?
Since 2017. Yeah.
And when did you start making music together? Because okay, here's the first thing. How should I call the project? It's like it's Two Eyes, Two Eyes. Like, what's the way to do this?
It is Two Eyes, yes.
So you started Two Eyes back in 2016, is that right?
We really started like in late fall 2017, but that was just testing stuff. I had some guitar chords and whatever. We wanted to play together, and we tried some stuff out, but the official like start of the band is early 2018.
And so how through that time, was there a time where it was just the two of you? Is it still technically the two of you? Like, how do other people fit into this project?
Yes, we begin this band just the two of us. And in 2019, we have a drummer with us. And we tour a lot with him. We have been in Italy together, and since after the pandemic, we were 4 people. But the core of the band, if I can say that, is really the two of us.
Yeah, it's like a Nine Inch Nails situation. Like there's the both of us. We're the main core of the band, but we have other people hanging around. So right now we have like this full band version of the band. We're 4, but we also are still playing as a duo because we like to do different shit. Yeah.
Yes, you're kind of like flexible in terms of how you present the music.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, we shouldn't go any further until we talk about the forthcoming album, Apostles of the Flesh, which I've been enjoying very much. It's got a whole dark, beguiling atmosphere to it. And I have questions about like the lyrics, and I have questions about the visual side of it, and like song titles. And I kind of feel like maybe a good place to start is if you can tell me for yourselves, like, what kind of is the inspiration behind the album? And maybe that's going to answer some of the questions that I'm otherwise going to like have individually.
Yeah, sure. Want to start?
Wow, how can I start this? We didn't follow any rules for this album. It came out like it came out. We didn't think about how many songs we want on it, how long it should be. It came as it came. Yeah, you want to add
yeah, it was pretty organic, I must say. Plus, it's the first time that we're working as a 4-piece, like for the arrangements and the writing and composing of the album. Before that, we would do like everything just the two of us. But for this album, we implemented Maxime and David for the composition as well. So we wanted, the first thing we knew we wanted to do was to have something that felt like alive and organic. because we came from the more industrial, like electronic part of the music, and we didn't want that. We didn't want something too goth or cold wave or dark wave. We wanted something that felt real, like proper drums in a real studio with a big room. And from that, we just tried to think about what our style would be if it had to be played with an actual live band. And that's what we've been searching with the two other musicians.
Yeah, I think the drumming stands out as being a really cool component of the music. You've got some great parts. So that's David. Now, whenever I talk, I mean, I'm bad with people's names in general, but as soon as it's anyone European, how do I pronounce his last name?
Oh,
Really?
good luck with that.
I'm glad that I left it up to you to do that. Yeah. So like his drumming parts are great. There's loads of standout percussive elements in the album. So who's the fourth member in terms of the writing and the playing on the album?
So yeah, so David is the drummer, and we have like Maxime Keller, who's the bass guy and also a synth guy. He has a lot of ideas with synth. He plays with June, who's from the UK, and yeah, he's a long time friend of mine, and we had a blast working on this album with him, and he has so many great ideas, and David as well, because the drummers, he's the fucking beast. He's just so interesting, because like you said, what I loved about the way he plays is just like, it's not just drums, it's more percussion, and that's just amazing, because that's what I always wanted from a drummer.
And in terms of the instrumentation that you're bringing in, what's actually the origin for you, Benjamin, in terms of how you started out making music yourself or playing music yourself?
I started as a bass player and still play heavily because it's my main instrument. I play bass and I think bass. I love me a good bass line, and but then I started to shift towards guitar, because for composition in a rock band, it's still more useful to have a guitar and just strum some chords or whatever. For riffing, it's pretty cool. But then I try to play whatever comes in my hands, so I don't really focus on one instrument or the other. I try to understand the instruments I work with. I started to learn drums as well, so I can have a better comprehension of what David is doing, for example. And it was really critical, because I had to direct him at some point. But if I didn't have like the technical language to speak with him, it would have been maybe more complicated.
Yeah, that makes sense. And because I didn't I rushed into this interview without introducing myself, I feel like if I say Helen, this is actually not how you pronounce your name. How do you pronounce your name?
No, it's quite well pronounced.
Okay, good.
So,
The English version.
yeah, it's English version, but it's well pronounced.
So your vocals are undoubtedly one of the key aspects that, bring the whole richness and the tone, even aside from the lyrics, to the album. And you've got these great different aspects and, different kind of approaches. You've got this like quite rich, full approach. You've got these more aggressive parts. You've got these hushed parts. What's your sort of background in terms of your singing and how that developed?
My first instrument ever is piano. I first studied piano, and it was when I was in junior school. I always enjoyed singing, and so when I was about 13 years old, I take singing classes. Because that's really something I wanted to be really good in singing. I really enjoy the piano, but singing is better. I prefer to be good in when I sing than when I play the piano. And I had a great teacher when I was in high school. Then I was how do you say? Do you have a word for conservatoire?
It's conservatory, but yes, it's
Yeah.
conservatoire. Yes.
Conservatoire, because I really, since I was a really little girl, I always wanted to be a professional musician. So I was in a conservatory. I took other classes with different singing teachers, and I always wanted to be flexible. I don't know if if it is the right term, but I always wanted to be able to sing in different genres. And yes, I made an internship to sing with a saturated voice a few years ago. And this is something I practice by myself as an athlete. You know, the voice is a muscle. You have to train it, to work out constantly. So this is it's a lot of work, but it's fun to try things with your voice. And Benjamin and I, we love all the songs when there are layers of layers of layers of different voices. So yeah, it was obvious for us to take different voices, to have a real panel of different voice I can make.
Yeah. And like, so then going back specifically to the forthcoming album and about like this overall impression that I have of it. So I feel as soon as I start talking about painters and, you know, eras of paintings, I'm completely out of my depth because I'm not all that knowledgeable. But from like just for example, the first song on the album, The Birth of Venus. Okay, so there's this famous painting by Botticelli, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you've also got this striking visual imagery, these scenes with God, what are they called? There's a particular word for it in painting, but I've forgotten what it is. But like these paintings with the two of you, and you've got like the skull, and you've got the candles and the dishes and all this, and it feels to me like perhaps this is like a kind of a Renaissance style. Is that what you're going for with?
Yes, it's exactly that. We were really impressed by Renaissance painters like Il Caravaggio or Titien, Bruegel, the old one, Georges de la Tour for a French one. This imagery just resonates with us because it's all dark. It's all with chiaroscuro technique, you know, with lots of shadows, like deep shadows. When you take Caravaggio, it's like it's not even just shadows. It's just a deep, dark, black canvas, and people with one light, and it's just to us. It's one of the most beautiful paintings ever, and we wanted to try to recreate kind of this feeling, but with music, in a way.
Another thing I was thinking about is when I listen to the music, I get this kind of like shamanic, ritualistic kind of aspect to it as well. And I wonder from your points of view, in terms of like writing, but also like performance, on stage performance, do you feel this as being partly a kind of a ritualistic process?
Yeah, as Benjamin says earlier, with this album, we wanted something more organic, and we like the treble aspect, the fact that something is looping, is something you can be hypnotized by. So you feel the music, you are in some trance, and you can even make a good trip with yourself, but with no drugs. So that's cool. And yeah, wanna add something?
There's a cathartic element or component to the music, because we don't want it to. Yes, we can speak about pictures of the Renaissance and whatever, but when we perform, like, we want people to get loose, like we are getting loose on stage, like we're giving it all, and we want the bodies to be freed, and that's something we could say that's kind of yeah, quite shamanic actually. It's pretty cathartic.
And in terms of like the stage setup that you like to have, like I think I saw some clips that all looked very atmospheric with the way that you had the stage set up. I don't know how much you've kind of like got a consistent way that you want things to look. Like when you started out, was it just like it's the music, or did you always kind of like have a visual idea to how you wanted to present things on stage?
At this moment, we don't have a full scenographic props, but it's something, yeah, we really care about, but we are not at this level where we can have a lot of things on stage. When we tour, just the two of us at the really beginning of the band, we have
Like an altar.
yeah, an alto. Thank you. On stage with the logo on it. It was very beautiful, but it was very heavy. And we not we are not at the a level, sorry, where we can have much things on stage, because it's small logistic stuff, and we are not at this point when we will need an entire team to help us on this, but we are not at this level of development.
Yeah, but even with that, we always had like an idea of like it has to be kind of visual, even if it's not something complicated, even if just a mood with just one light and one typical color for one song. We always had like something in mind. So yeah, the visual component of the music was pretty important to us.
Yeah, but we are lucky to have with us anyway an light engineer. We had an art residency a few months ago, and we worked with a light engineer, and only with that we know that it will be great.
And there are certain sort of practical things that I like to ask people in the sort of realms of DIY underground independent music, and part of it is the financial aspect. So do you both have jobs which are completely separate from music, or do you manage to make a living from within the music world?
So we don't really do a living with our music, but we made the choice to do only that, because doing that is a full-time part job. And if we would have a real job, we didn't. I think we didn't do what we did. We did a lot of shows before COVID. We played in Italy, in Switzerland, in Luxembourg, almost in the entire France. I don't think it would be possible if we had a job. But we do. Benjamin and I worked punctually in cultural venues. Like in Nancy, where we live, we have an opera. There are a lot of shooting of films, and so we sometimes we work on films, on other kind of performing arts. We can work. If we can do that, we do that. So it doesn't take too much time and energy, and we earn some money, not much money, but
Nope.
but
But it is all from within the sort of creative arts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I don't know how it was for you, but when I was growing up, like when I was a teenager, and I was listening to music on the radio or seeing it on TV, and I saw bands, and it's like, if they had a music video or just like they were touring, I would just think like, oh, that's like they have money, they have a career. And then as I got older, like there'd be all kinds of bands that I like, maybe quite niche bands. And I gradually realized like, oh, a lot of these bands are not really making that much, if any, money from their music. They're doing totally separate things. So I'm always kind of interested. It seems to me like with cases of people like you, where they do say, okay, we're going to invest our time and energy all into music, into the creative arts in one way or another. It's a very financially insecure existence, but that's kind of the decision. It's like, do you really want to devote yourself to this, or do you want to, like you say, like have a proper job of something that's completely separate. And I can kind of see the pros and cons. It's like you can get more security, but maybe you feel like it sort of drains your energy away from the creative things that you want to do.
Yeah, and we see that even in people we know, they are musicians. They make a living with that, but they don't play their own music. If you in France, if you really you can really do a living with music, but not yours. You have to make tribute.
Play covers.
Yeah, play covers. So you can play in weddings, in hotels, or any corporate events. So yeah, you can make a living, but they are frustrated also because they don't have the time to create, to make their own stuff.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. And you touched on touring and playing in various different countries. So there's a couple of different things I'm interested in relating to that. But from the financial point of view, like when you do go and play around, the whole of France or different countries, is that something that you look at as being like something that's going to raise a fair amount of money, or are the costs that then go into traveling around kind of counterbalancing that? Like how much do you actually end up with at the end?
Well, it's kind of tricky, and it gets trickier by the time, by the years. It used to be safer before COVID because it was, well, more easier, way easier to get shows, just to get shows and to get paid. Nowadays, it's a struggle. We have to say it's a struggle. And now that we're a four-piece, we have to find a vehicle. We just have to find a van. So it means a rental. So it means we have to find gigs that bring some like real proper money to make the tour like efficient or worth the trip. And that's what's kind of, yeah, tricky, especially this year for the coming seasons. It's gonna be like, so what do we do? Do we try to tour as a four-piece and maybe we'll get even, or we're gonna lose some money, or we just tour as a duo and it will be easier because we won't have to rent a car, and that's going to be in consideration. But it is a struggle, I have to say. And it's just me, it's just every musicians ever, like they go on tours, they can sell out venues, but if something happens to the van, then the whole economy of the tour is fucked up. And that happened to a friend, actually. Did a whole tour and the van just broke up near the end of the tour. It just fucked up their whole economy. And that's really hard because it wouldn't have happened in like even 6 years ago. So yeah, it is a struggle.
And so when you say it wouldn't have happened 6 years ago, how so?
Well, the prices were better, the gas was cheaper, everything was cheaper back then. So even rentals. And there were more venues to possibly play. There were more like, yeah, they would give money more easily. But nowadays it's like you really have to stick a knife down their throats and just have some decent money. So
Yeah. Are there any things that you kind of like go back to, or maybe just sort of performers in general, before you did start this project? Were there any specific like shows that you'd been to or performances where you're like, this makes me want to do this myself?
I think I can speak for the both of us, but we saw Daughters in 2019.
Yeah.
Well, before the whole cancellation happened, whatever. But we saw them live, and it was just wow. Okay,
The
so
epiphany.
yeah, it was kind of an epiphany. Like, oh, you're allowed to be this negative on stage. You can have this negative aura and energy. You can fuck with the crowd, and it's okay. I don't know. It just there was a light bulb in our heads, and it's like, okay, so we can do that. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, this one was a kind of a big revelation
Mm.
for us.
Yeah, it showed you the range of possibilities.
Exactly.
And a slightly more philosophical question. Why do you create?
Why not?
Because I feel like if I can contextualize that a little bit, like obviously, some people go into making music because like they want to be famous, or they get into because like they want to like attract the opposite sex or the same sex, or they maybe have some like particular skill and they want to be able to like hone it. I feel like with a lot of the people, and they obviously they can be like a variety of different reasons, but I feel like a lot of the people that I talk to will say that they do it out of some kind of like necessity or compulsion. It's like, I have to get this out of me.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's like that in some way for the two of you.
Yeah, that was exactly when I'm gonna say. For me, it's like the need of feeding me. There's not really something I have to do, because if I don't do it, I will feel empty. I will feel sad. Yes, it's yeah. I really need to do it. I studied when I was a little girl, without asking question. It came out, so I let it come out. I didn't think, oh, I will write this song and I will be famous. No. Yeah, I have the feeling I had to do it, so I did it.
Yeah, it's exactly that. I would be less poetic, but it's like having to take a piss. You have to do it, or either that, or just your kidney explodes, like in The Simpsons. It's just like that. I always compare, like the necessity of playing music. You have to do it. Yeah. If you don't, well, yes, you're gonna be sad, but you're gonna implode. Like really, emotionally, it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, and both of us, we did some real job in the past, and we both were miserable, I would say, because we didn't have the time to create. We didn't have the time to make music, to perform on stage. And when I finished all the creepy job, I said to myself, no, this now I just finished my university course. I finished my internship and other job experiences. No, stop. I just want to make music, so let me do music. And we met with with Ben. We both know we just wanted to do only that. So we we went through this. And
Yeah, we don't want to dissociate.
yeah.
That's not something we want to do, because yeah, having real proper jobs was one of the most depressed and painful experience. I mean, for my part, I ever had. It's the only time I had to deal with like depression, sadness, and almost like suicidal thoughts. And I don't want to go back to there. I'd rather be poor and do my stuff on this. It's my music, and I'm okay with that. But I don't want to be trapped in a room with coworkers, like in an office or some shit, and just dissociate all of the time because it's just boring as hell. That's no, I don't. I'm not taking any of that anymore.
And
Yeah.
even if you work in a cultural company, the mood is so awful. I didn't want to work with the people like that. It was awful. So no, I do things on my own. I don't want a boss upon me. So yeah, I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah, I relate to a lot of what you're saying there. It's like for me with work, I've been a freelance English teacher for about 10 years now. And before that, yeah, I won't go into all the deals, but like I was training, I wanted to, at one point in my life, I thought I was going to be a criminal psychologist. And while I was training for that, I was working in book selling, and then I became a bookshop manager. And then that was like, as you would imagine, book selling industry with like Amazon and everything else is not the easiest time. So like that was quite a stressful environment. I'm glad I did it, but it's pretty stressful. So like whenever I think about teaching and I might think like, oh, I'm a bit stressed about this or that, it's like, no, this is not stressful compared to what I was doing before. It's very insecure. It doesn't pay particularly well, but I'm not really working underneath anyone. Like I'll work for some schools and then I'll do stuff privately, but I'm kind of my own boss. essentially. So it has that benefit, but in terms of like the creative necessity, it doesn't necessarily provide that for me. So there are like these other things that I do that I kind of like. I do like your analogy about pissing or the kidneys exploding. So I feel like my my kidneys are going to explode metaphorically if I don't like run or do Thai boxing. Like I have to do these things for mental health, but it's not really like creatively satisfying. And I love doing like music writing and I love the podcast stuff. It's amazing. Like I always wanted to be able to do something that was involved in music, and I love interviewing people and getting these insights, but it's still not quite the same as like making my own music. And I go through these phases where I end up dedicating more and more time to different things. And then it's like, why do I somehow feel like existentially unsatisfied? And then I realize like, oh, it's because I'm not creating something myself. Like I really have that need too, wherever that comes from. It's like I also feel like I have to have it.
Yeah, and I would say that it's something that many people experience actually, because I think that the human is not made to do some bullshit. The human is made to do something with his hands. We have to work, but for something that it's beneficial and it's something that has some meaning. We can't just run like monkeys in an office. It's not a life. It's impossible.
Yeah. So, thinking about the release of the forthcoming album, am I right to say that it will be digital only, or are you planning to have any physical release to go with the album?
Well,
Yeah.
we have a CD.
Yeah.
We have a CD version. We have to go through it, but we'll have it. Vinyl was off the table because, well, the money. We don't have the money, but I don't know. Whatever happens, happens. If we get some money, well, we have our own like collective label with other musicians that work with us in other bands, and we try to get some money here and there, and it's gonna pay for the CDs, maybe some merch. After that, if we can afford a vinyl, maybe we'll see. But the album is pretty long, so that would mean like being a heavy, maybe a two disc set. So it's even more expensive. So I don't know, but we do love the physical media because it's always great to have something. You know, it's like books. You have books in your living room, and it's just yeah, it's great. Even as decoration, it's just it feels normal. It feels nice. So we do like to have like the physical object, and the CD is pretty cool because it's kind of cheap and everybody can afford it. And we want our music to be affordable because it's the essence of music. It should not be like just for rich people. It should be for everybody. So yeah, CD is pretty cool. Plus, it's a media that's just well, technically quasi unflawed. I mean, it's one of the best technical medium. So yeah, CD is great. Go CD.
And I'm intrigued by you mentioning the collective label. Tell me a bit more about that. And is that like in terms of the CD? Obviously, people can go to Bandcamp if they want to buy a digital copy of the album, but is that where they should get the CD, or do you actually have a website for the label as well where you would sell merchandise?
We don't really have a proper website yet. Maybe we will get into that if we see that we get some tractions or whatever. But right now it's just our Bandcamp. We will do everything through that. But if we see that something is working with our other bands, because we do play in different bands, so we have two eyes. Helen and I were playing also in Fournaise, which is a rock grunge duo, bass and drums respectively. And we also have like a hip hop band. We play some psychedelic noise, like swans, like music with a different with different people. But we try shit. We just like to, you know, we don't want to do one music in one genre. We want to explore. And we have these good friends of ours who like to play all weird kind of music. So we play with them, and we have these several bands, and we managed to have this small label that's not really a label, but we use it as a label. And yeah, we try to do some little things here and there, and maybe we'll grow and into something that's more official.
And thinking about what you've got coming up for promoting the release, so I know that you've played alongside some pretty prominent bands before, and I think you've got some shows coming up with some other bands sort of around about the time of the release. Is that right? What have you got coming up in terms of shows?
Yes, we're so for what will act as our release party, we're gonna play opening for Bruit and Alceste, if you know about them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be a big one.
And so is that going to be actually on the 3rd of October?
No, 3rd of October is
Release.
the release. But there will be a release party in in our local venue, so l'autre canal. And at this venue, we will play with Alceste and Brie, sorry. And yes, this will be our release party for the album.
Yeah, but it's on the 26th of October.
24, 2023, sorry, 23.
Yeah.
And on the topic of sort of like people keeping track of the band and maybe other projects that you've got as well, you know, I kind of hate well, it's probably clear that I hate Amazon. I kind of hate Google. I hate Mark Zuckerberg. I hate the Twitter guy that's now ex Elon Musk. I hate all of them. Nevertheless, I feel like you kind of have to pick your battles. And so, despite the fact that I haven't used Amazon for about 15 years, I am on Instagram. I am on Facebook. So, what's your poison when it comes to these like necessary evils that you use? And like, is Instagram the best way for people to keep track of what you're doing, or are there other platforms that you use?
No, I think Instagram is the best platform to follow us. We share more things on Instagram than Facebook because we know that Facebook is more a place when boomers
Go to die.
go. And yes, we are trying to post some things on TikTok, but it's not really our platform. We are too older, I think, for TikTok, but for the next month, I think we will publish more on TikTok.
Yeah, but Instagram stays the main actual platform for us. It feels more natural. I don't know because it felt more arty at the beginning before it got all fucked up with the algorithm and whatever. It was easier to find like other artists and photographers or painters or whatever. Right now, it's just an other piece of shit where you have to buy your viewers and whatever. But hey, you have to use it because if not, well, what do we do? You know, it's like, yeah, that's the problem. Now, there's no websites, there's no forums anymore. It's just social platforms. Even the internet shifted drastically in a 10 or so years. So you have to adapt some way, or you just die. So yeah, Instagram's the poison we use. But we try to stay away from others, like Spotify. I really don't wanna. I don't want to get involved. I mean, our music is on Spotify because, well, it has to be some way, and it doesn't cost us more money to put it on Spotify because when we put it on everywhere, well, it's the same amount. So it would be like if people want to use Spotify, it's their problem, whatever. But personally, I mean, fuck people, go Bandcamp. Stop giving money to this piece of shit. It's just no.
I agree. I totally agree. Yeah. Yeah, I would almost say that we should have a revolution, but I'm skeptical about the positive outcomes of revolutions. But I don't know. I've said this before in these interviews. Like I find once we get down this topic of conversation, I feel like I'm a Marxist. But it's like there's something definitely deeply wrong with the capitalist beast. But you know, I don't know what the better alternative is.
Well, yeah, but the problem is that there's evidence that the capitalist system is wrong. I mean, we have all the Noam Chomskys in the world to point out that, yeah, capitalism sucks. And you have all these people that now are experiencing the hard truth of capitalism just brutalizing people to their death. I mean, you can see just what is happening in America right now. He's just cutting money for hospitals where people are going, well, they won't be able to even get born in some states where they won't have any hospitals nearby. So that's all fucked up. But even Americans now tend to realize that there's something wrong with their country and the way that they're dealing with health insurances and whatever. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to be optimistic because I kind of see a change. Not on Facebook for sure, because it's always just fascists and boomers just being, oh, it was a better time back then. And but when I go even on Instagram or whatever, and I see some comments, of course, some of them are infuriating. But when I see Kim Gordon, she shares an extra lot of things about the political climate in America, and there's some horrible shit going on with the ice and everything. It's just horrible. But there's also so many I don't know, things that people do to try to get lawyers to inform people about what you can do to get your rights right and whatever. And it's just they organize themselves, and that's beautiful. And even right now in Europe, we have this pseudo revolution that's coming up in Serbia.
Mhm.
Nobody talks about it. No media is covering it because it's gonna give some ideas. But I think there's a political shift, and maybe our generation has something to do with it. Because I mean, we're all like depressed and fucked by our jobs, and we see that we can't even afford to buy a house, even if we earned a proper money from a proper job. We just couldn't afford to buy a house, and that's a problem, and people realize that. And I think that, yeah, maybe some changes are going to come. I don't know how nor when or whatever, but I try to stay optimistic about it.
Yeah, there's an energy there that needs to be channeled in some way, and obviously people can channel their energy into nihilism, but if they're given something to hope for or something practical to do, then that can be channeled into something that could actually make some kind of positive change. So, yeah, I like to at least maintain some element of positivity too. So, Benjamin, Helen, thank you so much for your time. It was great to meet you both.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. Thank you for the music. I hope you get an excellent reception for Apostles of the Flesh when it comes out, and I hope you have a great release party. And yeah, until we next meet, all the
Yeah,
best.
With pleasure.
with pleasure.